Hello, I'm Mike Sandone from North America Overland, and today I'd like to talk about this 1969 Land Rover Series 2A that we just completed a full restoration on. This Land Rover came down from Vermont. It had all the typical problems that Land Rovers from this region of this age have when they've been neglected. So we went ahead and did the teardown on the vehicle, and this was a standard procedure. We don't really waste a lot of time with trying to save parts that aren't going to be used. So we removed all the important body panels and drivetrain components. So from there, this was pretty much just like our typical projects. We began to strip down all the body panels. So of course this motor was fully rebuilt, and it had some modifications to the head to run on unleaded fuel, and we added all our standard upgrades that we do on every project. We also supplied a Series 3 transmission for this project. There's really no advantage to the non-synchronized first and second gear transmissions that came with the Series 2A, and customers just seem to like the fully synchronized transmission better. It just is a little bit easier to drive. There's something kind of fun about shifting the 4-speed transmission. You don't just shift it like a modern car transmission. You need to be very slow and patient with it when shifting through the gears. The main downside with the 4-speed is that you're really limited to a 55-mile-an-hour cruising speed. These trucks are geared pretty low, so we can solve that problem by adding an overdrive. And an overdrive basically acts as a fifth gear for the 4-speed transmission. So now you have the capability of doing about 65 miles an hour cruising speed on the highway. With all our projects, we pretty much never use the original doors. There's too much electrolytic corrosion at the bottom that causes pinholing in the aluminum, and we find that even the best condition original doors will have some of that pinholing, which would lead to bubbling in a couple years. So since we're building a vehicle that is going to last a really long time, we're going with new doors. So we sandblasted the bulkhead, and that actually was in really nice shape. There was no pinholing on the top of the bulkhead. There was a little bit of rust on the footwells, but that was easy to replace with some galvanized replacement panels, and we are good to go. When it came to the tub, I was actually really pleasantly surprised. So the guys stripped the tub down to bare aluminum, and the part of the tub that is typically corroded underneath the underbody supports was actually really solid. There wasn't any perforation in the aluminum under those supports. So once we had all the panels stripped down to bare aluminum, we sent them out to paint, to be painted in marine blue. So as the panels were being painted, we began assembling the rolling chassis. So like with all our projects, we started with a new galvanized frame. We added the same parabolics that we use on all our projects. We installed the rebuilt axles. We installed the brake lines. We ran the wiring harness through the frame. We dropped the engine in. We mated up the transmission to the engine. We installed the overdrive. So by the time we had the rolling chassis all set, the body panels had come back from paint. So we started assembling the tub. Once the tub was built out, we placed it on the frame. So at this point, it's time to do the door alignment. And this is one of the most important parts of the entire restoration, because you can't go back and adjust the doors and get decent door gaps later on. You have to do it while the bulkhead and the rear tub are still floating. So to do this, we use ratchet straps to pull the bulkhead and kind of tweak it into place. So once we're happy with everything, we bolt it all down. The body came together really nice and smooth on this project. Since we've done so many of these restorations, we have all the tricks and ideas to get things to fit properly and to line up right without really having to struggle with it. So the body assembly went nice and smooth and easy on this one. Another way that this Land Rover stands out is that it got all of the equipment from our NAO Expedition package. Usually the NAO Expedition package vehicles are painted in a matte tan because they're destined for a more kind of off-road use, and that paint is a little bit more suited to driving through brush and driving through the woods. But this Land Rover got all of the equipment that we usually add to the NAO Expedition package. It got the Pioneer tools and the jack mounted in the load bay. It got cargo lashing rings in the load bay. It got front and rear recovery points. It got the 750/16 mud tires, and it also got the Odyssey heavy-duty battery and LED headlights. So I'm really happy with the finished product. It really seems like the Series 2A 88-inch soft top with marine blue paint is the most popular vehicle that we've built. And for good reason. It really is a vehicle that looks great with the complementary colors of the blue and the tan and the limestone of the wheels. It's really an aesthetically pleasing vehicle. It can be argued that the Series 2A is one of the most beautiful Land Rovers ever built. There's something about the proportions and all of the details on these vehicles that really make it a much more attractive vehicle aesthetically than, say, a later Defender. And these vehicles don't really compare to Defenders at all. A Defender is a much more modern vehicle, and these series vehicles are a lot more like tractors. But because of their simplicity, they're actually, in my opinion, more fun to drive around back roads and dirt roads than a Defender. But if I had to choose a vehicle just to take out on a sunny Sunday afternoon and have fun with just driving down back roads and exploring, I would definitely choose the Series 2A soft top. These vehicles are really fun to drive and to just kind of whip around on the back roads or take it slow and just meander. They do ask more of the driver than, say, a more modern vehicle like a Defender. You really have to put some effort into making this low horsepower 4-cylinder engine work for you. So it's not just that these series Land Rovers are really fun to zip around in on back roads, but when you actually arrive at an interesting destination, like maybe a vista or a historic site, it's great to just stand back and actually just admire the vehicle and maybe take some pictures of it with a great backdrop. In a way, these are almost like a motorcycle. Motorcycles are often ridden just for the fun of taking it out and riding it. And these series Land Rovers can be taken out and driven just for the fun of driving them, except you get to share the experience with a bunch of passengers, and you could take your friends out and you could all share the experience together. So what a perfect vehicle. You could take it out and have a lot of fun driving it on back roads with your friends. It's great to just park it someplace beautiful and admire the way the vehicle looks. And it's a vehicle that's built for long-term ownership. So with all of the galvanizing and rust-resistant materials and all the care put into rebuilding the drivetrain and all the care put into the interior and the body, this is a vehicle that will continue to look great and be serviceable for years and years to come.